Our Region's Business is sponsored by PNC for the Achiever in You. Welcome to Our Region's Business with your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, we're here on Pittsburgh's North Shore, just outside PNC Park, the home of the Pittsburgh Pirates, a team that for the first time in more than 20 years is actually in the hunt for the playoffs. It's become one of the biggest sports stories in the United States, and in many ways, the Pirates are one of the biggest business stories around here. So today we're going to focus not so much on what's going on the field. After all, we don't want to jinx the team. Instead, we're going to talk about what the team's success has meant to the success of the businesses here in the neighborhood and also in our region in general. In a few minutes, we'll meet a few of those businesses, and we'll also talk with Jim Rohr, one of the architects of the regional strategy that built PNC Park and redeveloped the North Shore. But first, we're going to go inside the ballpark and meet two of the guys who played a leading role in building a winning team in Pittsburgh. Bob Nutting is chairman of the board of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Frank Coonley is president of the team. And welcome. Thanks for hosting us today, by the way.
Bill, it's wonderful to have you here. Thanks so much for coming out and telling what really has become a great story.
Well, it really has been, and congratulations to both of you for what's been achieved over the last few years. There's been a lot of naysayers and a lot of doubters, and just to see the excitement that's been unfolding here in Pittsburgh is just terrific.
Well, it really has been an exciting year, and to keep it in perspective, it really has been part of that program and plan that we put in place several years ago when Frank came in and began the process of rebuilding talent into this organization, and to see that come to fruition on the field at PNC Park, and to see the reaction of the fans in Pittsburgh, the excitement around the community has just been a tremendous season so far.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the strategy behind the success we're seeing. I mean, Frank, what did you see when you got here, and sort of how did that drive then the strategy and the tactics you've used since?
What I saw, Bill, was a great baseball town, a great sports town, a market that loved its baseball team but wanted to be proud of its baseball team again and hadn't been for a while. And so it was a team that had not had success for a while at the major league level, did not have the strongest farm system, which is really critical to a team in Major League Baseball under our economics. So the mission statement was very clear. Give Pittsburgh a baseball team of which they can be proud again. Now the difficult part was we needed to ask a fan base that didn't deserve to give us any more patience. We had to ask them to be patient because we knew it would take some time to build it the right way, because you really have to build a team from the ground up, and we didn't have the fundamental core elements here yet. So we had to bring those in and then develop those players, and you're starting to see them appear on the field now in the McCutcheons and the Alvarez's and the Garrett Coles and the Tony Sanchez's. You're seeing that now. But the toughest thing was to look our fans in the eyes and say, I know that you're not patient any longer, and you shouldn't be patient, but we need to ask you for some of your patience, because this is the only way to give you what you really want, and that's a team not just to be mediocre and maybe win 82 games, but that's a team to put up another championship, world championship banner for the City of Champions.
No, I think about when you came in, it's not like there had been just a few losing seasons. I think at the time the team was about to surpass the Phillies for the longest losing streak in Major League sports. So you're right, there was a trust issue here, but there's also a strategic and a commitment issue on the part of management to just plow ahead.
Well, we appreciate you bringing that history back up, because we're well aware of it, and that certainly was part of the challenge. But at the same time, I think the approach that we've taken, that Frank has taken, that Neil has taken, by building a stronger organization, we're in a position not only to have success at the Major League field this year, and began to see that in the first part of last year, but also absolutely in a position, our goal is to continue to have an organization that we can be proud of, that the fans can be proud of, and I think that we have strength throughout the organization now to make this run sustainable. My expectation is we're going to be better next year, and I think we need to continue to build on this growth.
It's still a very young team when you think
Absolutely.
about it. Hopefully there's a lot of potential there. You did catch flack over the years, not hitting the free agent market, not investing in some of the big names. You seem to put the money into prospects and into signing young players. What was behind that approach?
Strategically, Bill, the best place where we could have the largest impact and give this organization a chance to not just win one year, but as Bob said, have a sustainable run of competitive championship caliber baseball was to make the strategic investment in the young players, in the core facilities of the organization. So with Bob's leadership, we built a state-of-the-art and really, I think, the best in Major League Baseball academy in the Dominican Republic. And we plowed a lot of money into the amateur draft, where we got players who had fallen in the draft for whatever set of reasons, paid them a bit more than the recommended slot by my former office at the commissioner's office. And also in the international side, we made a strategic decision that the team of Roberto Clemente had to take a leadership role again in Latin America, where so many major league players come from these years. We had a leading role there in the 1970s. Many of those championship teams were led by great Latin players, great African American players, and great Caucasian players. It was the first team that fielded. The 71 team was the first team that fielded an all-colored team. So they were great teams, and much of that championship was due to the fact that we took advantage of our leadership role in Latin America, and we had gotten away from that. So we took that again and made the investments with Bob's leadership in Latin America, in the amateur draft, and that's where the patience comes in, because it's a long-term strategy. It takes some time to build it, but once you have it and then you continue to invest in those operations, you can sustain success.
Well, and now here you are, last year, I guess, second best attendance in the history of the ball club, second only to 2001 when PNC Park opened. Now that you actually have fans coming and you're selling merchandise and they're buying food and concessions, I mean, how does that help you from the standpoint of running this business to even be more effective?
Well, first of all, I think it's a great opportunity, and this is a great opportunity for us to continue to express appreciation for those fans, because it has been an incredibly tough road for them. They've been through a lot. The same passion that you're seeing today for the team and enthusiasm appropriately played out during those tougher years with anger and upset because they're let down. And there's nothing that I think has a bigger impact on me, whether it's at the end of a fun walk-off win and people are walking out on the street and you see grandfathers and granddaughters walking out together, celebrating, building memories. You know, that really is the reward at the end of the day for those families and those fans, and I think is what we're going to be building our base on as we go forward.
You feel like you have more room to move now, Frank, and be more creative?
No question, Bill. And it's all because, as Bob said, the fans have been just tremendous. The outpouring, and they're here in record numbers. You mentioned that last year we had the second highest attendance in the history of the franchise. 126 years we've been playing baseball, won World Series championships, won division championships in the early 1990s, but last year in 2012 we had the second highest attendance. And just last week, we just surpassed that number in tickets sold for 2013. So we definitely will break that record this year. Maybe not break the 2001 record when the PNC Park's first year, but we've got that clearly in our sights for next year.
I was just going to say, that sounds like a clear goal to me. That's
clearly in the sights. He's going to hold you accountable for that. Bob Nutting, Frank Coonley of the Pittsburgh Pirates, thank you both so much, and congratulations thus far.
Bill, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Bill.
Yeah. Next up, the small businesses that are benefiting from a redeveloped North Shore and the success of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Stay with us.